Hello, and welcome to Top 5 Nintendo, where we give you top 5 lists for all things Nintendo. I'm your host today, Sam, and my co-host here is Jake. How's it going, Jake?
I'm doing swell, Sam. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well myself. Well, today we're going to be talking about my favorite franchise of all time. That would be Pokemon. Specifically, this top 5 list will be our favorite Pokemon from Gen 4. Gen 4 is Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. I don't know about you, but this generation came out like right in time where I was able to read all of the words and pronounce all of the moves. Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum have a very close place in my heart. I believe I played all of them, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. Tried to mix up the teams a little bit. I recently replayed Platinum. I love the generation. I love all the starters. First, how about you tell me your experience with Pokemon, maybe your Pokemon journey so far?
My whole journey started off with the anime. Um I just I think that was one of my favorite shows as a kid. And like from there I probably couldn't read at the time, but I was at least able to connect with these characters and Charizard especially will become a recurring theme. I love my fire Pokemon.
Oh, of course.
But that introduced me to everyone and sparked my love for Pokemon, although not as intense as yours has grown. Um, my first Pokemon game after watching the animes was Leaf Green on the Game Boy. Um, and we passed, yeah, I mean, me and my brother just shared that file pretty much. We passed it around. I don't think we were really old enough to understand what was happening or like have much of a memory of what came before. So it didn't really matter that we were passing it off back and forth to each
Sure,
other
of course.
because we didn't remember anything. But after that, I was introduced to Gen 4 when my brother got Pokemon Diamond on the DS and I got Mario Kart on the DS. And that is where our stories diverge. But he loved the game and like I definitely borrowed it from him a few times and eventually got my own Diamond. I don't know what age I was exactly or how much longer after he got his Diamond, but we spent a lot of time in the underground, whatever area you call that. You know what I'm talking
Right,
about?
right, right. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Online and battling and whatnot,
Mhm.
which was a really cool feature on the DS. And first gen that had online trading and battles.
Amazing.
Yep. Cool. Well, that's what okay. Do you want me to continue my story?
Let's hear it.
Past Gen 4, not much. Not much after Gen 4.
Okay.
Well, like a year or two ago, us and a couple other friends discussed playing Platinum.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was the only one who actually played
You
it.
were the only one.
I literally grinded I grinded that game thinking you guys were playing it. I didn't want to like slow any of you guys down.
Mhm.
Like I don't know. I think Dan played a little bit, and
Mhm.
he was saying like, "Oh, I'm on like the fourth gym," and I'm like, "Oh shoot, I'm only on the second gym. Gotta start grinding this game." I didn't finish it. I got pretty far. I think I beat all the gyms at least, but I didn't do the Elite Four, and I also got Sword on the Switch about a year ago. Didn't like it. Sold it pretty much immediately after I bought it. Um, and that's where I've been at. But I am excited for the remakes, and I am excited for Arceus. And that is what I will say on that.
That was a fantastic story, Jake. I have a similar story, but I'm going to have to abbreviate it because I have played all the generations. I started with Red, Blue, and Yellow, Gen 1. I talked a little bit about this in our console podcast, so I'm going to make it extra quick. Wasn't able to read. I had a neighbor who helped me like play through the game, like told me where to go. I had a poster of the 151 first generation Pokemon.
I know the one you're talking about.
Yep, I had that one, and I had it on my wall, and I would put in active effort to memorize all their names. I don't know how I did that. Probably from like watching the show, having like my neighbor explain it to me.
Right. Do you remember the Pokemon raps?
Oh yeah. I mean, don't ask me to do it right now.
I was just about to ask you.
I remember moments of it. I feel like there's YouTube videos of people just like having it memorized and doing it perfectly.
I'm sure.
And I'm so
Yeah.
jealous of that. And I loved it. I'd say that was probably my first rap song that I really loved.
Yeah.
Had to have been the Pokemon rap when I don't even know what age watching that. And then go on to Gen 2. I played that one on the Game Boy as well. Still couldn't read it. Never finished it. I never got to. I never left Johto and got into Kanto. I know, because that game was too hard for me at that age.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And then we get Gen 3 that was on the Game Boy Advance, and then we had Leaf Green, Fire Red. Loved those games so much as a kid. I felt like I got to like go back, play the Kanto region again as slightly older and could like navigate. And I was like, oh, a genius! Like I knew where to go. It was great. Waking up Snorlax with the Poke Flute, like so many great moments. We had Gen 4. Like I said, I played them all, and then. As I got older, I didn't have as much time to spend on, doing countless playthroughs of Pokemon, but I did keep up with it. I personally really did enjoy the newest Pokemon Sword and Shield. I got it at midnight and literally played it for 7 hours straight.
Oh my gosh.
I played it until 7 a.m.
Oh, you didn't even sleep. Okay.
Like I went to the midnight release with my friend. We both got a copy.
Awesome.
Went back to his house, and we both had it on the Switch, just on the mobile, and played it until 7. And it must have been like 7:30. And I told my buddy, like, I gotta just drive home now. Yeah. Like, it's getting to the point where like I don't even know if I'm gonna be too sleepy to drive home. Like, it's during the day, so I'm not gonna sleep. It was amazing. I loved it so much. The graphics, the open world area, but that's not what we're talking about.
Okay. We're
only talking about Gen 4 today, which I'm very excited to talk about.
Before we move ahead, I realized, and I think both of us skipped, we Pokemon Step and Stadium on the 64. I don't know how that.
I forget?
Crossed over both our minds.
It crossed both. Okay. Well, all those side games I, of course, loved. Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Stadium 2. The mini games were great as a party game, of course. But I just loved that, like, I don't have to like trade all these starters onto one game and then have Venusaur and Charizard on the same team. I can just pick them. Like as a kid, blew my mind.
Super cool.
And same with Pokemon Coliseum, XD Gale of Darkness. You never played those ones? Oh, I just loved the fact that it was like 3D. It felt like it was in a real world. I could honestly talk about all those games. Even Pokepark. I even fell for Pokepark for a little bit.
Which one?
It's like it was a Wii 3D Pokemon game. It wasn't your conventional Pokemon gameplay. There wasn't like turn-based battling, but it was just like a spin-off game for the Wii.
It's like a, I mean, I've never even heard of this.
You never even heard of it? To be truthful, my brother actually had the copy, and I only played it a little bit.
I mean, was it like kind of like you could walk around with the Pokemon kind of thing?
Yeah, it was like a lower stakes Pokemon game where it was That's more cool. Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, I don't remember much of it. I wish I could like explain to you like the mechanics of it.
Cool.
I totally don't remember.
Yeah. That's not what we're here for today.
That's not what we're here for today. We're only here for Gen 4 Pokemon.
Arguably the best.
Arguably the best, for sure. And we'll discuss that. But to start off, we on our top 5 list are discluding the legendary Pokemon in fear that it might dominate both of our lists. It would be a little unfair. I could start off by saying Dialga, Palkia are amazing. They're always amazing. They're still amazing, but they can't be on our list. So I hope that doesn't upset anybody when they don't hear them in our top ones, because it would probably be in my number 1 if I could. And we're a little open to the criteria. I mean, some of these guys, I think we both just, really like the design. We might really like how they helped us beat all the gym leaders, or maybe when we do competitive battles, like we always win with them. It's a little bit of a mix of all of that. Without further ado, I'm going to go right into my number 5, if you don't mind, Jake. Number 5, I have Roserade. Roserade was just a great idea for Game Freak, because we had Roselia in Gen 3. Roselia is cool. Not really, like there wasn't much you could do with that Pokemon. It was kind of just meant to be like the cute Pokemon. You're not really meant to like beat the Elite Four with it and you're not really like using it competitively.
Right.
I don't really know why they made it. Probably just because there was like a lack of like just straight grass types
Yeah.
in Gen 3. It was, you know, you get a lot of like grass poison, and I think they, oh, you know what? No, Roselia's also grass poison.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I tried helping Game Freak out with that one, but I talked myself
No
into a circle.
excuses.
I actually have no excuses, so I'm going to take that back. I don't know what they did, but they
No,
were,
I meant Game Freak has no excuses for making
yeah,
this.
yeah. We
wreck of a
we are
Pokemon.
both out of excuses. But they're smart, and they said, you know what? I think we can do a little bit better. Let's give Roserade an evolution and a pre-evolution.
Yes.
We got the baby Pokemon. We got Budew. You get Budew early in the game.
Yeah.
You spend 10 million hours upping the friendship points until it evolves into Roselia.
Yeah.
Takes so long. And then I think it's like a leaf stone to evolve Roselia.
Could be.
It's something like that. And then you get Roserade. And Roserade is amazing. It hits super hard. It's got a little speed behind it. It basically does everything that Roselia could have done, only better. And you got the sleep powder. You got Stun Spore, you get Spikes, you get Toxic Spikes, you get Leaf Storm.
Yes.
Leaf Storm, maybe the best grass move. And you kind of can just get Roserade like pretty decently early in the game. I mean, you get Budew and then pretty early in the game, and then it's just up from there. So I just enjoyed using it. I'm also a sucker for poison types. I always thought they were like the cool like bad guy type Pokemon.
Yeah.
It just made me like Roserade a little bit more. And also Roserade had this like ambiguous design. Like is it like an old Pokemon? You know what I mean? Can you picture like the white hair look of Roserade?
Yeah.
It was kind of it was like an aged Pokemon to me, because then Budew looked like a child.
I feel it.
I felt like this one had a lot going for it. And definitely enough to be my number 5.
Would Roserade be a starter for you with the spikes and the sleep powder and all that?
That is a great question. If I'm going to nerd out, which I would love to, I would say yes. Back in Gen 4, playing a little competitive, I would probably run a set that's something like sleep powder, maybe spikes, toxic spikes, and leaf storm, right? Because you're you put them in your number 1 slot. You might be a little bit faster than the other Pokemon. You could put them asleep. You could set up your hazards. You could throw out a Leaf Storm, ruin all your special attack at the -2, the -2, and they kill you. And all of a sudden they have hazards on their side, and they're maybe down a Pokemon. If not, they're almost down a Pokemon. A lot of fun, a lot of ease in using that set for sure back in Gen 4. Good question.
I'm trying to be on top of it.
That was a good question.
Well, I don't have a whole lot to say about Roserade.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I might not have the most to say about a few of your picks, just because it's been a while.
I'm sure I'll just run my mouth as soon as you name a Pokemon. I'll just be like, oh, I remember when this, blah, blah, blah.
That's what I'm hoping.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
All right, on to my number 5, Magneton.
Oh, yeah.
All
Great pick.
Okay, I'm trying to read your reaction to Magneton.
I'm happy.
Awesome. So we got an electric and steel Pokemon, which looks very cool in my opinion. I got some. Well, so I guess he has a couple abilities, and one of them is Magnet Pull, which doesn't allow another steel Pokemon to leave.
You studious man.
The battle. I tried.
You're good.
So, and then when you got Magnet Pull going on, you pretty much shoot. What was I saying? Okay, you got Thunderbolt against those steel Pokemon.
Sure.
Which pretty much between the two, you could just take out any steel Pokemon. You got the steel trap going on. So I should say with my list, I mentioned before we started recording, but I tried to pick different Pokemon types. So I'm not doing like only fire Pokemon, which I probably would have done otherwise.
Of course.
Okay. So that's where we're at. Has Sturdy, Sturdy allows you to not get KO'd on one hit, right? When you have
Right.
full health.
Yeah, so back in the first Gen 4 games, how Sturdy worked is they couldn't use a move like Sheer Cold. And a move like Sheer Cold would automatically knock out any Pokemon if it hits with its 30% accuracy. And that was okay. But in competitive, those moves are banned anyway. So in the remakes, how Sturdy will operate and how Sturdy has been working for the past couple generations is that no move can one hit KO it.
Okay.
So that's amazing for Magnezone now, especially because you use Earthquake on Magnezone, and an Earthquake is going to just destroy any Magnezone, but not if it has Sturdy.
Cool. Yeah. Well, Magnezone has that going on. Also, very nice coverage across the board. Kind of goes without saying, but I think it'll be easier to say what it doesn't have, defense against. And besides that, I have that you could give it HP Ice, right?
You can.
Okay. So then you get some coverage against ground as well.
That's how you take out Garchomps back in the day.
Yeah. So all around highly defensive Pokemon, which is not how I usually play, but for my number 5, I felt like it was a suitable pick.
That is a suitable pick. I had a different steel type on my list, so maybe that's why I couldn't have picked Magnezone. But I could run my mouth on Magnezone forever. I have used him in every generation since Gen 4. Yeah, like you said, he's amazing. I think Game Freak got a little bit nervous after they released the steel types in Gen 2 because they're like, oh, this is an amazing defensive typing. Like how are we going to balance it out? And Magnet Pull was great because all of a sudden you throw out your Magnezone and they're stuck, and then you hit them with the Thunderbolt or your hidden power Fire, hidden power Ice. If you have a Choice Scarf, then there goes the Garchomp.
What's the Choice Scarf?
So Choice Scarf it's just it's one of the items you hold, and it boosts your speed by +1.
Oh, okay.
But you're locked into one move.
Okay.
So exactly. Okay. Yeah, and
Interesting.
his typing is great. I mean, he resists the dreaded combination of Thunderbolt and Ice Beam, which hits neutral for like every Pokemon ever made except for maybe like 10 or 12. Okay. So pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a lot going for him. Like you said, you use him defensively. You can use him offensively too. Like with the Choice Scarf, the Choice Specs, just those, stat boosting items. Let to be said, I'm glad that they gave Magneton an evolution for Gen 4 because I feel like Magneton was decent, but they had room to boost him up just a little bit, give him a little more special attack. That's what Magnezone did. And obviously, the design, genius. He looks like a UFO. I love it.
And I was going to say with they have a lot of Pokemon that didn't have evolutions in Gen 3, right? That suddenly in Gen 4, we're getting that. So that's... I mean, you've mentioned it a few times already, but that'll
be a trend. Yeah, Roserade was one. Yeah. I mean, they all got that Gen 4 treatment, which is why I think Gen 4 was such a great experience as a kid.
The perfect generation.
Bold, but maybe.
I was reading someone say that Magnezone is like an electric type in disguise with the magnet pull, just destroying its own kind.
Right, I know. Kind of evil.
Yeah.
Evil. Gotta love him for it. Okay. Well, now for the steel type that I had.
Awesome.
That beat out Magnezone. I feel like everyone has to have Lucario on their top 5 list.
Without saying.
Lucario is amazing. He's just cool. Like he's, as a kid, you see him and you just know he's like the cool Pokemon. He was like, he wasn't the legendary type, but he had the movie about him. You know what I mean? Like he was important. He was in the Smash Bros. Games. Like they knew they had something with the design, and I'm not even really sure what the design's supposed to be. It's kind of like a wolf, which is the cool animal, but kind of like the fighter wolf, like has like a mask. Really, they knew what they were doing. The typing is like, okay, if you had to ask a kid, what's the coolest typing you could possibly do? Fighting? Steel. That's how I see it. Maybe fire. All right, maybe Maybe if it was you, it'd be like firefighting or something, which is valid.
Yeah.
And it was also like in the game, you don't just catch him. Like that'd be too easy. It'd be too accessible. I don't know if you remember, but you're gifted his baby form.
Yeah.
You're gifted his pre-evolution, Riolu.
Yeah.
And then you got to do the friendship work. It feels very earned. But there's so much reward for it. I mean, he has like some of the best moves. Extreme speed, obviously, which has that priority. It goes before pretty much every other move in the entire game, no matter your speed. And then his selection of moves he's got close combat, focus blast, flash cannon. He's got all just to name a few. And he hits for physical attack and special attack, which was it was kind of new, for Gen 4. They introduced that mechanic where fighting types could hit for special attack, and vice versa. Maybe whatever the specials, maybe grass would hit for physical, which is what they did with Torterra. So yeah, I don't think I ever actually used him in any of my playthroughs, but I would use him competitively. As would anybody, because he was he was so fun. He could really do anything and keep you on your feet. You asked me about Roseraids, what competitive set I would use, and now I'm going to have to just keep giving my sample sets. And for Lucario, I would say, I wish I wrote these down, because now I'm going to have to just come up with them off the top of my head. But that's cool with me.
Okay.
Maybe something like Nasty Plot, Focus Blast. The special attacking priority move, fighting move, Grass Knot. Just all attack, just strong attack.
Were you talking about extreme speed?
Extreme speed is a great move. If it was a physical set, then you got Sword Stance, close combat, extreme speed, and then your filler other moves.
So that's what okay. So he's later on my list.
Okay, all right.
That's the route I went.
Okay, that's the amazing thing about Lucario, and it's amazing that we both had him on our list.
Yeah.
But we were thinking about him in two different ways.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I do this with him, you do that.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I'm just less skilled at Pokemon.
No. The extreme speed set is like the hallmark of Lucario.
Right.
Well, if you got him on your list, then maybe I'll save any other thoughts.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, I was gonna say with Lucario as well. Well, what I was just saying, like when I played as a kid, I just went for which moves are gonna do the most damage and the least amount of hits.
Right.
I didn't use a whole lot of like special attacks and hazards and sword. I did use Sword Dance actually a lot, but nothing really else. I don't care about the weather. I don't care about.
I don't care about the weather. Well said.
Any of that.
Well said.
I was just whatever. If it does 120 hit points, that's what I'm here for.
It must be a good move.
Exactly. Even if it slashes my like special attack in half, that's still what I'm going for. Exactly. I don't care. We'll come back to him when it comes up with me. But my number 4 is Torterra. Gen 4 anime stud up in here.
Yes.
I mean, like, so I mentioned I feel like I connect more with the anime than the games,
which is valid.
Yeah. Really grew up with them, and Torterra was just such a cool Pokemon to like a turtle with ecosystem growing on its back. So cool. And I was reading that like canonically there's like Pokemon legend that like in the past people thought that Earth was a very big Torterra.
Yes, I've heard that same story. That's been around for a while now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Amazing.
That's so cool.
I believe it.
Okay. That's like the Pokemon's version of like flat Earth.
Yes. Yes. Right. In the Pokemon world, they have to be like, this has been disproven.
Unless it is true. I mean, could be.
Hey.
That'd be hilarious if Nintendo just one day when it's true.
maybe that will be the mega evolution for Torterra when they create it. Just world size. You play as the planets.
Awesome. Yeah.
I hope so.
Okay, so I have to point out it has the 4 times ice weakness, which is very scary.
Such a shame.
But otherwise, we got Wood Hammer going on. As I mentioned, 120 hit points.
Yum.
We got Synthesis, which lets you regain hit points,
And
HP.
bring all that health back after you lose it with Wood Hammer.
Exactly, after one ice hit.
Mhm.
We got Earthquake doing 100 hit points. Earthquake all around. I feel like a lot of that's just a move I always come back to.
Well, it might be the best move in the game.
Yeah, across the board. If a Pokemon can learn it and I'm playing with him, he's gonna learn it.
They will be using Earthquake.
Yep. What else do I have? Rock Polish gets a special attack up.
Mm-hmm.
Or
he gets Rock Polishes for speed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wrote SP with the notes.
There you go. Speed. Okay. Which he could use because he's a little bit slow.
He's slow. Yep.
He's not like, he's not going to do anything with his low speed, but he just needs that little bit of boost from Rock Polish.
Yep. Thank you for catching that.
I got you.
I really don't have a ton on these earlier Pokemon in my list. Maybe perhaps you have a little to say on it with a little more Pokemon knowledge. I do. As I mentioned, I'm a little more into the anime, so I could talk all day about its visual aesthetics.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said for his visual aesthetics. I know that I saw Detective Pikachu in theaters.
Really?
And there's one moment in the movie where you think that you're looking at like mountains, and it's these Torterras that emerge, and on the big screen, oh my gosh, I mean, it's such a cool looking Pokemon, and you just see this gigantic Torterra just like emerge on this massive scale.
That's what I'm here
on the big screen. I was like, yeah, I'm into this movie. When I saw it, I was like, that was cool.
I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah. So you remember that scene?
Yeah. I mean, I only watched it probably less than a year ago.
Okay, right.
That was a quarantine movie for me.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it at theaters, so it was like a little bit,
Cool.
We both know that it's anyone who has not seen that movie. I'd recommend it. For Nintendo fans, I definitely recommend that.
Yeah.
And then also, I've been playing the new Pokemon Snap, and there are these great Torterra moments, and they just feel like you visualize how big they are, how much bigger they are than you, because I feel when you play the game, that these things got trees on them, right? Right.
And Pokemon live on their backs.
Yeah.
Canonically.
Right. So when you play Pokemon Snap, and you literally see these Pokemon sleeping on Torterra's backs.
Awesome.
Snoring with the bubbles coming out. Yum. I'm so into it.
Awesome.
Right. And then okay. Outside of how it looks, on the inside, he's also beautiful. They were trying something new where before grass types were they were special attackers. They kind of had to be special attackers. But then they changed the system for Gen 4, and then they allowed some grass moves can now hit physically. One of them is Wood Hammer. So the premier user of Wood Hammer was going to be one of the starters, Torterra. And that's why Torterra has a great attacking stat, because they're like, okay, you have Earthquake. Easy. If none of this fails, use Earthquake. And then you got Wood Hammer, and maybe give him Stone Edge and Rock Polish. And that sounds like a good set to me right there.
Yeah.
Good pick.
Nice. Thank you.
I like it. Well, would you like to hear my number 3 pick?
I would love to hear your number 3 pick.
I would love to share it. Okay. I'm really picking some obvious ones right here, so I hope you don't make fun of me too much for it. But number 3 is Garchomp. Number 3 is Garchomp because he is a dragon type, and that makes him cool. I feel like before Gen 4, there was this idea where like dragons were like flying. They were, maybe they weren't always flying types,
right?
But we had Dragonite in Gen 1. We had Salamence in Gen 3. We had Latios and Latios, which were Dragon and Psychic, but they had Levitate. So we have this idea in our heads that these dragons in the Pokemon world they're pretty much always going to be flying. And that's what the magic of Gen 4 was like. Let's twist these expectations. Let's make him a ground type.
Right.
Let's make him a grounds and dragon. And he'll be like a land shark. So he'll be like kind of like a mix of all these different kinds of ideas, and then kids will just like some aspect of it,
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
And it
Dragons
worked.
are cool.
Dragons are cool. He was like just hard enough to get. I never did a playthrough also with Garchomp. Just
Okay.
Gabites, you had to go to like this one kind of tucked away cave, kind of like catching a Bagon in the Gen 3 games. You had to like kind of know where to go in the cave,
Okay.
catch it, and then spend a lot of time leveling him up. I know some people would use them in their playthroughs. I just never happened to. But I've used him competitively. Oh, I don't even know how many times. In every time I can. He ended up. I think he got banned in like Gen 4. He was just that good. He was really fast. He was just ahead of the like speed curve where he could outspeed like a lot of other Pokemon that would otherwise take him out.
Right.
He had this great set where like we were talking about Garchomp, you use a Hidden Power Ice and now he's done. Well, you could hold a Yachi Berry in Gen 4 and all of a sudden that cuts in half your weakness. So now instead of it being ×4, it's ×2. So you use Swords Dance, you got Outrage, Dragon Claw, Earthquake, maybe Stone Edge, and no one could stop you. I mean, Skarmory can stand in your way. I think a +2 Stone Edge, one after another, back to back. That's taking out everybody. It was an amazing Pokemon to use. He was just strong. He was fast. He's a Dragon type. I mean, Dragon types were just like the best type for like a pretty long time. I feel like in the world of Pokemon,
Right.
this was pre-Fairy type. So, yeah, maybe you got your Magnezone. Otherwise, I don't think there's much getting in Garchomp's way. Definitely enough to be a third pick. What are your thoughts on that, Jake?
Well, even though I just tooted that dragon horn, I'm actually not very big on dragons in Pokemon. So essentially, because of my anime background,
Right.
compared to playing the games, I'm not the most familiar with who like the coverages and what's gonna be good against what type and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I could tell water's gonna be good against fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
But dragon gets a little more tricky, a little more complicated, even to some extent like steel and
Right.
especially fairy, and then you get into ghost poke. Those are just I have to do a lot of googling when I'm playing my Pokemon.
Like sit down
to
and
say
think
the
about
least.
it for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't even say that I have. I'm like double negatives there.
Mhm.
I have definitely been in a battle and been like, they throw out whatever Pokemon, and I Google who's what type is good against this Pokemon.
Right.
So dragons a little out of my pay grade. So I wouldn't play a Garchomp probably,
Okay.
but a very cool looking Pokemon. But then the second but here is that if I do have a dragon, I want it to be flying. So Garchomp would not be my dragon.
You see, you were part of the whole problem before Gen 4, where they were like, we can't take a risk. They all have to be dragon and flying. The kids won't like it. Part of the problem, Jake.
They were correct. I think. No, I mean, well, you like Garchomp, some people liked it,
I
but
know.
Garchomp is a name I recognize, and I could instantly picture in my head what a Garchomp looks like. So at least it didn't fail on me in that sense, but it wouldn't be my pick.
I'll take it. You know what? I'll let it go.
Thank you, Sam, for your mercy.
Anytime for you. So it looks like next up is your third pick, but before that, why don't we go on a quick little break?
That sounds dandy. We will be right back.
Hey, this is TC,
And this is Jim from the Studio Demands It podcast,
where every episode we take a demand from a hypothetical studio
which could be you,
and challenge ourselves to conceptualize, pitch, and craft a film based on the stipulations
or the demands
we are given. We talk about movies all the time. Particularly, we complain about the choices made in the films we've seen.
We're nerds like that.
And, of course, like any good nerd does, we automatically assume that we could do better.
Even with the demands and restrictions that clearly must have been put on by a production.
So head on over to studiodemandsit.com and listen to our previous library of episodes. Our library of previous episodes. Our precious library, Jim. Our library of precious episodes.
You're a pirate, Smeagol.
Okay. So head on over to studiodemandsit.com to listen to our library of episodes.
And submit your demand for a future episode, too.
So go do that.
Okay, bye.
Okay, end of ad.
Welcome to our new podcast. Welcome to our new podcast.
This isn't working.
Agreed. I think we're going to have to do it turn by turn.
Well, now that you mention it, we are a brand new RPG video game podcast.
Our very existence hinges on turn-based gaming.
So join us on the Turn by Turn podcast, where we'll be talking about
Pokemon, Fire Emblem, Golden Sun, Shining Force, Mother, and so many more.
It's your turn to come and join us.
Welcome back. We have Jake's number 3 pick up next. Jake, would you mind telling me what your number 3 pick was?
The same as your previous Lucario.
Good pick.
Thank you. Just one higher up on the scale for me. So Lucario, you already mentioned, had its own movie. It was in Smash Bros. Or still is in Smash Bros. Sorry, just hit my mic stand. So as a kid, I thought Lucario was a legendary. Probably until recently, I thought Lucario was a legendary. It kind of makes sense. But then when I was playing Platinum, as you mentioned, you get the baby Lucario, whatever it's called, and
Riolu.
Okay, there you go.
Mhm.
And everyone knows the legendaries don't have
Pre-evolutions.
Different. What, do they have pre-evolutions?
Legendaries will never. They'll never have a pre-evolution.
Oh, you're just finishing my sentence. Okay.
It's a very specific rule for legendaries. Is that they can't have pre-evolutions that evolve into them.
Oh. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
so that's pretty much what I was saying. So yeah, so that kind of hinted to me. Wait, Lucario is not a legendary.
Mhm.
You just
Yeah,
get
there you
handed
go.
a baby Lucario. But I did spend a lot of time raising that Lucario. Because Lucario is I think, I don't remember exactly in Diamond, but I'm pretty sure every time I've played Gen 4, I've had a Lucario on my 6, whatever you want to call them,
Mhm.
my party Pokemon. Talking about visual aesthetics, back to that for a second.
Please do.
This guy is so cool on Smash Bros. Which probably was my first really introduction to really using a Lucario.
Mhm.
Speedy Boy. I don't want to spend too much on Smash because it's not Pokemon.
Sure.
But he's quick. He looks cool, like you said. Like he's kind of just the rad Pokemon,
Yeah.
the cool Pokemon that kids could kind of relate with.
Mhm.
Well, I mentioned previously I would have gone the physical route with Lucario. Focus Sash lets you start off with that sword dance. You get that speed going, and then you got the attack going, and then with your sword dance and focus sash, you could read your opponent and
Sure.
see, and read their speed, and then you get to see if you want to go with extreme speed or close combat, and hopefully take them out with the combined sword dance. Good coverage besides that. I didn't write down the coverage per se, but
Well, honestly, with your set right there, you add a dark move like Crunch, and you're pretty much able to hit any Pokemon
Good to go.
at that point. Yeah.
Yeah. Lucario, in the games, you're raising him, so you spend him or her,
Mhm.
you're raising them, and you spend a lot of time with them, and you grow a little connection to them, as if you didn't already have a connection going into the game because of the movie and Smash Bros. And this
Right.
and that. And like Lucario is just like the Pokemon that's everywhere.
Mhm.
Which if I guess we've been moving a little quick, so if you want to spend a little time discussing why Lucario, do you think Lucario would have been as cool if they didn't go off with him?
That is an excellent
Of all
question.
Pokemon, why is Lucario in everything? Why does he have his own movie?
They just wanted to like pick one Pokemon to just market as much as they possibly could,
Right.
and they put all their eggs in this one basket.
Like the modern Pikachu or something.
Yeah, maybe that must have been it. I mean, he had the same ears as Pikachu. Maybe they were going for something like that.
But he's not cute. He's like
not cute.
aggressive.
Yeah, and his design is like a little bit too complicated for
Yeah.
him to be like the next Pikachu.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where like you can have like a cute like Pikachu Halloween costume,
Yeah.
right? You know, there's not too
Yeah.
much to think about. Like
Right.
as long as you got the red cheeks
Yeah.
and maybe the
the
tail, then
tail,
it's good to go.
yeah.
But Lucario, like I don't even know how you'd go about
You
dressing
wouldn't.
up as a Lucario or like
Yeah.
cosplaying as Lucario.
I was gonna say, at least you're unless you're cosplaying, you're
Yeah.
not gonna be dressing as
yeah,
Lucario.
yeah, it's like it wouldn't work. I think they also definitely just wanted to give him like the coolest moves, like all the moves where
Mhm.
kids could do like literally exactly what you said.
Yeah, what we just described.
Focus sash,
Yeah.
sword stance, extreme speed, like
Yeah.
you
You could go in many different routes with them.
yes, anyone can use him. Not to
Mhm.
say that, I mean, that doesn't make him bad or good. It makes him good actually, I would say.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they landed on Lucario to be that way. I did have that same moment as a kid that you were saying where I was like, he really seems to me like a legendary.
Yeah.
But you evolve into him. So that was like cued me off that he's not. It almost gives him like this own like third category.
Yeah.
You know, the pseudo legendary, as they would say.
Right. Well, I mean, the weirdest thing was that he had his own movie because before this, only legendaries had movies. Like that was the whole
Yeah,
point. They
and-
reserved the movies for the legendaries of the generation.
Right, because you buy the game based on how the legendary looks.
Yeah.
So it kind of markets the next game.
Yeah.
Right? Like you get you see like Lugia in the movie and now you want to buy Pokemon Silver,
Yeah,
right? Like that's
exactly.
kind of the idea. But no, they just were
Yeah.
like people like him. Doesn't he talk in the movie?
Does he talk?
In my head he talks.
might.
I mean, maybe I'm just like thinking about Slowking in that Pokemon 2000 movie where Slowking will never stop talking in that movie.
Yeah.
I want to say like Lucario even talks.
Yeah, I mean, now that you mention it, I kind of feel like he does talk, but I wouldn't be able to tell you for sure.
In my head, I'm just gonna go off on this like.
I think he almost definitely. I am almost for sure certain he
Yes.
talks now.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like his lore is so complicated when he has like aura and
Mhm.
there's like some like like hard magic to his aura.
Yeah.
I feel like he communicates that idea.
Right.
And he doesn't open his mouth. This is really me deep diving into the back of my mind trying to remember these childhood thoughts.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm pretty confident. Oh, I might be thinking of Mewtwo talks.
Mewtwo also talks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Now I'm not as confident
Oh
that
gosh.
Lucario talks.
Oh, now we're stepping backwards. All right. Well, if anyone knows,
Let's jump ship before I keep backing up on this.
Okay. Well, would you like to hear my number 2 pick?
Yes, please.
All right, I'll share it. I picked another evolution that was added for Gen 4. I picked
Ooh.
Togekiss.
Nice.
Togekiss, I was a little bit confused about when I first was first introduced to him. I was kind of like underwhelmed with Togetic in the past games. I feel like everyone knew Togepi because Togepi was in the anime. You can picture Togepi, right? That like egg Pokemon that Misty
Of course,
carries.
yeah.
Of course.
I watched the anime.
Yeah. Yeah. Togepi was also kind of like, oh, everyone will know Togepi and think Togepi is cute.
Adorable.
Yeah, I mean, Togepi is adorable and the design is great. Like the shapes, the colorful shapes. Togepi kind of like invented there are baby Pokemon now.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
like people knew about that because of Togepi. And then of course Togepi had to evolve into something,
Yeah.
or else Togepi can't be a baby Pokemon if it's always
that's
going to be
fair.
like that. It wouldn't make sense. So I feel like Togetic was this like filler evolution that didn't need to be there. Wasn't really that good.
I can't even picture what Togetic looks like.
It's like Togepi with like more of a uniform color, like all white instead of yellow, and then has wings. Really kind of a useless Pokemon. I mean, it's a
Okay.
mid-evolution. You don't really need to use it. I have had fun using this like extremely gimmicky niche set where you give it an EVO Light, boost its defenses, you
Okay.
give it Wish, you give it Protect, you give it Toxic, you give it Air Slash with Serene Grace, and you'll have a fun time for about 30 minutes. Okay,
Cool.
so they thankfully realized their mistake in ending on Togetic, and they gave Togetic an evolution. Togekiss,
Nice.
amazing Pokemon.
Another cutie.
A cutie. I wasn't sure what to like make of it as a kid.
Yeah.
Like what am I supposed to think when I see Togekiss? You can picture Togekiss's
Yeah.
design, right? Kind of like a plane, right? It's like a jet Pokemon. But then it's a bird also,
Yeah.
and then it has
Kind of
colorful
a
hair.
seagull airplane
A
hybrid.
seagull, interesting. Maybe, yeah, yeah. I'm not sure. And I did not use him at all in my in-game playthroughs, just because I'm not even sure if you can get him until post
Sam,
game.
have you used any of the Pokemon on your list?
Well, I don't. Well, you want me to spoil my number one pick just like that?
The-
No, you're totally right. I mean, Roserade, yes, I've used Lucario, Garchomp. No, Togekiss, definitely
So
not.
did you just not want to train the Lucario?
Yeah, I mean, no, I think I would like train him. I would like get him to my Riolu to evolve, kind of like
Okay.
post game, just for fun.
Okay.
But not in my like immediate playthrough to beat
Yeah.
the Elite Four.
By the time you get it, it's too weak to really train, and you
Yeah.
don't want to. You don't want to like. You save it for that game. I feel you.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all it is. And no, trust me, all these Pokemon I have spent hours playing competitively.
Yeah.
Just being a total nerd, spending hours working on my Togekiss set. I talked about the design. Yeah, amazing step up from Togetic. All right, now I'm just gonna nerd out for a second. Togekiss changed the game. It
How
had
so?
the Serene Grace ability, where what it did was it doubles the chance of all secondary effects, right?
Yeah.
Now, a secondary effect is something like when you use Thunderbolt, 10% chance to paralyze, right?
Mm.
Ice Beam, 10% chance to freeze. Now, this mechanic was really kind of just there to throw a little bit of chance into the game to kind of like keep you on your toes a little bit more. They didn't want
Right.
it to be like, oh, we're playing chess with monsters. Like there's a
Exactly.
little bit of like problem solving. What are you gonna do now? Oh, you're frozen. Are you gonna switch out? Like you didn't see this coming. That's part of Pokemon. It's amazing. But strategies can't be made around that 10%. So what they did was they had this ability, Serene Grace, gave it to Togekiss, and now that 30% chance to flinch with Air Slash is now 60%. This existed with Jirachi back in Gen 3.
Okay.
But let's be real, who had a Jirachi?
Yeah.
Did you have a Jirachi?
Probably not.
No, because I think you had to like go to GameStop like
Oh, really?
once
It was, like, an
every like
exclusive
3
Pokemon.
years to get it or something. Yeah, it was one of those like event Pokemon, but Jirachi did the same thing. Serene Grace, Iron Head,
Cool.
you flinch everything. So yeah, Togekiss, you get that 60% chance to flinch.
Cool.
If you have them paralyzed, then you have to break through the paralysis and break through the flinch. It was really, really frustrating to go up against and really fun to use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could tell. I think I might have used it back in the day, but I didn't on my last run. But Flying Fairy is like my probably ideal flying Pokemon.
Yeah, and this was this was back when he didn't even have any fairy moves to like function with. It was really just like you flying attack. It doesn't even matter if they're a Magnezone and 4-time resist it. You hit them with the air slash.
Yeah.
It does 6%.
Yeah.
Keep doing it until they're down 30.
Could this learn fly? That's all that matters.
You know what? That is exactly true. I just want to get from one place to the other. Can Togekiss learn fly? The answer is yes.
Awesome. I'm pleased.
Yep. All right. What do you got?
We have to get to the fire Pokemon as promised. Infernape, the best Pokemon. That's my number 2.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I love fire starters. So I probably started every playthrough minus my one grass playthrough with Infernape. I probably never started with the water is what I'm getting to.
Mm-hmm.
Not much of a water guy. In any game and in real life. There's not a lot of very good fire Pokemon in the game. So
yeah, there's really not.
Mm-hmm. So starting off with this guy kind of just gets you through it. I think in the beginning too, having the fire starter, in my opinion, makes that early game a lot easier going through whatever town you start in. And there's a lot of like grass Pokemon and like weaker flying Pokemon and a lot of normal Pokemon. So the fire Pokemon is kind of just your friend at that point. And so this is, I guess, is a little bit also maybe this isn't accurate, right? What I just said, because this is just how I see Pokemon.
Okay.
Not knowing the most about types and all that, but logically it makes sense to me that fire is better earlier on, and then water wouldn't be. I guess you have grass and normal and flying Pokemon earlier on.
Yeah, I mean you have the advantage against like the early bugs.
Yeah.
Against the Budoos, like the early
Exactly.
grasses. The first gym leader is a rock type.
Yeah.
So there's that. I forget when you learn fighting moves as a Chimchar or evolve into its next evolution. But yeah, no, I mean it's a great pick still. Like you can
Thank
definitely
you, Sam.
you beat the grass gym leader, which is I think the second one.
Could be.
Could be. That's all right to hear. All right.
I wish I could tell you. Yeah. So not a lot of really good fire Pokemon. So Infernape automatically goes up the list with that. You got back with the 120 hit point moves, close combat. My guy. We got Flare Blitz also with 120. You can't go wrong with Flare Blitz. I don't know why I can't say it.
Yeah.
Fire Punch is your Flare Blitz without the recoil, essentially.
Sure.
A little bit weaker at 90 hit points.
You got Fire Blast if you don't want to get that recoil damage.
Yep. You got okay, so I don't know. I wrote Fake Out, but
You do get Fake Out, and I can speak on that.
Okay.
Well, I can surely speak on that. Back in the Gen 4 days, what you do is you lead with Infernape, and you have Fake Out. It breaks your opponent's Focus Sash, right?
Yeah.
So you do just like 5% damage, breaks their Sash, and then you could set up your Stealth Rocks. You could use Close Combat, or you could use Fire Blast. You can run physical and special because it doesn't matter because you have a Focus Sash yourself. So you can just tank your defensive stat. And yeah, I mean, no, Fake Out was the move.
There you go. Okay.
For sure.
Took the words out of my mouth.
There you go. You're welcome.
Thank you, Sim. And then going to the visual aesthetics, you know me.
Mhm.
Again, it just looks like such a cool Pokemon. Well, I think fire Pokemon in general pretty much always look really cool. Kids like fire, dude. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I mean, no, I was not like obsessed with fire as a kid, but
It's like relatable. Like you know what fire is. You know that it's like
it's
powerful and maybe a little scary. You know.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's probably where my mind was at when fire became my starter. My go-to starter. Fire is just cool. So that's what I have. Do you have any connection with fire starters and Infernape?
Yes. Well, let me start. You asked me about my connection with fire starters, and I have a great one. I have a great story to tell.
Awesome.
So I'm graduating very soon. I might be graduated by the time this podcast comes out. And
yeah.
I asked my mom. She wanted to know what kind of cake I wanted to graduate. And well, it's taken me 6 years to graduate college, slowly but surely. And what I wanted was a cake that had a Charizard on it. And
Really?
it would say number 006.
Oh my god.
His number in the Pokedex and the amount
Yeah.
of years it took me to graduate.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
And congrats, Sam.
Thank you. Yeah, of course I love Charizard. I love Infernape. As a matter of fact, I love Infernape so much. He is my number one pick for the best Gen 4 Pokemon that
Awesome.
is not a legendary. Yes, he is. And I can tell you my thoughts on it if you don't mind.
Please
Well,
do.
what makes him my number one pick? He might be the best starter, just period, of all
Yes.
generations. He might be. I mean, there's other ones. There's the dark water frog. But that one's fine. Yeah, Greninja. He's fine.
Greninja, there you
Yeah,
go.
Greninja's good. But Infernape was came first, and he's very good. He was fire and fighting before people got like sick of it. Like Blaziken was
Yeah.
fire and fighting as a starter, and people were like, "Oh, this is a great typing." Like, "Oh, we love fighting.
Mm-hmm.
We love fire. We're kids. Blaziken is
Yep.
my favorite." And then people were so excited, like, "Oh, we get another one. Infernape, same typing. Like this is Christmas, you know."
Yeah.
And then people got over it after Infernape, but Infernape was still on the hype train. Pretty much all those starters typings were actually pretty cool at that time. Like we were talking about grass and ground for
Yeah.
Torterra.
Mm-hmm.
That I thought that was really cool. We had a physical attack in grass. They used the same idea with Empoleon, and they went water and steel, with steel being kind of given more to like physical attackers
Yeah.
in the earlier gen. And now we have the special attacker with a steel typing, and we're gonna give him Flash Cannon. And now we have a special attacking steel type. And what made it click for Infernape, what made Infernape a cut above the other guys, is that he had that high attack stat and that high special attack stat.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about. All those moves
Yeah.
they gave him, I mean, he had Grass Knot. You know, he could beat the water and ground types that would have
Right.
stopped him in his tracks. He had Fire Blast, but he could also use Close Combat. So you couldn't use like the Scar Murray Blissey defensive combo because he can hit both sides. He can stop anything. Heat Tran, that won't stop Infernape. So yeah, he had that going for him. I told you my favorite set of his back in Gen 4, but nowadays, I mean, they keep giving him more and more to
Right.
work with. He got the Iron Fist ability. I forget. I think it was like Gen 5. They gave him that hidden ability, and that boosted his Mach Punch, his Fire Punch. He's remains just a great Pokemon, and the fact that he really couldn't be stopped by any wall in Gen 4, and he could hit so hard, and he had so many resources. I genuinely think that he was just the best Pokemon of that entire generation.
Awesome.
And for his category, maybe the best Pokemon up until that time. I don't know.
I think I could agree with you.
Okay.
Except my number one.
Okay, let's hear it.
Da-da-da-da. I'm gonna say it wrong, but barrel. Did I say it right?
I think it's like Bibarel.
Really?
I always say different.
Bibarel.
Yeah, it's like Bibarel, something like that.
I like Bibarel more than Bibarel.
Yeah,
Bibarel.
Bibarel.
Let's say Bibarel.
That's it.
Bibarel. That's fun to say. Solid early game when. Okay, so
Yeah.
obviously I picked him because, well, this is a term.
Cut to the chase.
This is the term that I'm going to use.
Okay.
He's a terrain master.
Yeah.
You got Rock Smash, you got Waterfall, you got Rock Climb, you got Surf, you got Cut, you got Strength. I think that's all of them. Oh, unless I missed one. But pretty much you that's all the things you need. You know,
Yes.
you break those boulders, swim, whatever you need to do. Pretty much everything except fly he could do. Everything you need, pretty much, not even pretty much everything you need for the Elite Four, right?
Yeah.
He could do it.
Yeah.
So that's only one Pokemon slot. So pretty much my mindset.
Okay.
I will give up a Pokemon, a battling Pokemon, in exchange for this, one slot that could do anything
Right.
that I need to get done. So that's why. What did we say? But Barrel is what I'm.
I think you
accustomed to.
liked Beebrel the most.
Beebrel, there you
and,
go.
and I think there's like a Justin Bieber joke in there somewhere, if we could think of it in time. I'll think
It'll
while
be in
you
the back
talk.
of my head.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Beebrel. What was I even saying? Okay, so yeah, I'm not. So I was gonna say though, in the early game, so Beebrel is like pretty much everywhere, right? So not the worst Pokemon earlier in the game
Mhm.
before you make it your terrain master.
I love that. Can that be like normalized? Can everyone
I hope
just
so.
know to say that?
I found it on Reddit. That's not my term.
Okay.
But it's not the worst Pokemon to start off with, and you could kind of level it up earlier in the game. So as much, I just said like I'll give up a fighting Pokemon slot. It's not really giving it up because it's a decent Pokemon.
You can still use it.
It's usable.
Yeah.
But yeah, so also just an adorable Pokemon to look at. Kind of just fun to poke fun at, like, oh, you can't do anything, but like also you can do everything.
Yes.
So it's like he's kind of in on the joke because really you need him.
Right.
So as much as you want to hate on him, he's a great Pokemon.
Yeah. I pretty much had that exact same experience where for the listeners who don't know how the HMs work in the game is that
Okay, yeah.
you can give a Pokemon an HM that will help you progress through the game. Move rocks out of the way, help you swim. But the catch is, and they've got rid of this since Gen 4, thankfully, but the catch is that once you teach them a move like Surf or Strength, they cannot learn a different move in replace of it unless you go somewhere inconveniently and have them have the move deleter delete.
Mind, yeah.
Yeah, which was like very extra of Game Freak to implement that. So the move would be to just have one Pokemon there you teach all of those moves to, and they will just be your Pokemon to do that.
Terrain Master.
Right. They will be your Terrain Master. Lanoon was another good example back in Gen 3, basically, the Gen 3 version of Beebrel. And the great thing about Beebrel is that he had that same type attack boost for Surf, for Cut, and for Strength. And Rock Climb, was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rock Climb. I mean, he was benefiting from knowing these moves.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not even unusable with all these things.
It's a benefit, if anything, to have those.
Yeah. Surprised he wasn't on your list at all.
I'll tell you why he wasn't on my list. If we got super specific and we said, all right, top 5 in game that helps me get to the Elite Four. That'd be like, oh, you need Beebrel. I mean, he'd be on the top 5.
Were you thinking more competitive?
I'm thinking the whole scope. I'm thinking competitive's my most important, but I also I appreciate the end game. I appreciate the idea. What was Game Freak going for? They wanted to expand the variety of normal types. And so they wanted to give a normal type that's also water, not just another normal flying, right?
Right.
So I did like that about Beebrel. But yeah, I wouldn't really use them competitively. I do have a couple additional thoughts, if you wouldn't mind me sharing on Beebrel.
Yeah.
But we were talking about the mascot, right? We were talking about, Pikachu was a great mascot. I think they're going for that with Lucario. It worked for maybe a little bit, but it didn't really stick. Hard to dress up as him. I feel like Bidoof was maybe the first big the meme Pokemon. People had
right. Exactly, yeah.
I think it was this April Fool's that Nintendo pretended Bidoof took over their account or something. People still know Bidoof.
Bidoof took over the Twitter and apparently also sent emails to IGN and whatever other magazine. So just saying Bidoof or whatever Bidoof says. Like, I'm assuming it just says its own name. I forget. I don't know, but it just said like Bidoof, 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 and then like Nintendo like submitted an apology at the end of the day, saying like we were hacked or something. Like, so sorry for this inconvenience. Like, it was very unprofessional. It was hilarious.
Literally genius.
Yeah, total meme.
That's the pre-evolution. Just thought it was very important for me to share. And I was saying I wouldn't pick him for competitive, but I do have to mention that it was after Gen 4 he got the ability Simple. I think it was a hidden ability for him. And what Simple does is it doubles your stat changes. So if you were to have, maybe they use like Growl and it reduces your attack, then it would go down -2 instead of -1.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you use Curse and it would normally boost your stats up 1, it boosts them up 2. So
Cool.
in the lower tiers, you use Curse.
Mm-hmm.
You get +2 attack, +2 defense. You use that 2 times, now you're at +4. Maybe 3 times, you're maxed out at +6. And you could use Aqua Jet, a priority move. And it's an amazing gimmick set because it just gives you an excuse to use Beeb Roll and almost make him work. Just almost.
Almost.
Yeah. That's
Cool.
all I got. Good pick.
Thank you. I think you said all 5 men were good. Thank you so much,
I
Sam.
know. And
that
this
means
was
so much.
this was the episode where I felt like, if you said the wrong thing, it was just gonna boil my blood, and I was just gonna not be your friend anymore.
Oh
because,
my gosh.
Because of your foolish Pokemon knowledge, but it's not foolish.
I tried to read up because I know how much you love Pokemon. I didn't want to disappoint you.
You didn't want me to just be shouting at you this entire episode, telling you why you're wrong about everything.
Oh, I do want to say, we mentioned in a previous episode the gambling in Pokemon, and so this was the last game, the last generation with gambling in a Pokemon game.
Oh, Gen 4 was the last one with gambling? I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
I guess they were finally
the restrictions tightened up a little bit.
They
and,
were finally.
They said kids shouldn't gamble, and then that was the last one.
Who would have thought? I guess they just didn't want to like break that tradition of like, oh, our first game had gambling. How are you supposed to get the casino Pokemon if there's no gambling?
Well, it came up in context of Zelda with us, where Zelda still has gambling. It's just a Nintendo thing. It kind of goes hand in hand with like the risk and reward. It's an exciting thing. Yeah. But I understand Pokemon especially has a younger audience, so I understand the negative feedback they might have got with the gambling.
I see both sides, and because I really like your thought on how, a Pokemon battle, you're doing a little bit of gambling when you do that. I mean, I've had distinct moments in my head where I was like, the only way I can win this battle is if I get a critical hit on this extreme speed, and it will be a 1 in 16 chance of me getting it. And if I do, I'll win, and it'll just be luck. And then I got it. Oh God, this happened to me 12 years ago. And I remember it was an amazing gambling moment, but it's not with money. Not really with money. So
even throwing a Pokeball is a bit of a gamble. You know?
Yeah.
I remember like catching legendaries, especially.
Mm-hmm.
You're just throwing Master Balls or whatever until one of those hit the right percentage of whatever, the calculations predict with the Master Balls.
Right. So, in conclusion, children should not be allowed to gamble, but we both love Pokemon.
Yeah. I also took note that this was the first generation with like physical differences between genders. Which is pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, because like I definitely remember as a kid being like, well, how do I know which one's which? And I probably was too young at the time to know the gender symbols. You know? So how do you know they look exactly the same? And what even is gender?
Yeah, I know. That was confusing to me, I guess, but as a kid, but then it added another element to it. I know for sure. I'm thinking of, do you remember the Combi Pokemon? The bee Pokemon in the game?
Yes.
Right, so the female Combis could evolve into Vespiqueens. But
that's the name I was thinking.
Yep. But the male Combis would remain as worker Pokemon the entire time to the matriarch of that, like Pokemon ecosystem. Cool. Right. And then you also have some Pokemon that remain genderless. Magnezone, for example.
Oh,
Yeah, you don't have a male or a female
I didn't know that.
Magnezone. They're cool with just
could they
being like,
breed?
yeah, I know for a fact that you can breed Magnezone with a Ditto,
Ooh,
at least a Ditto.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Interesting. So Ditto's probably also genderless, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think I used to be really into that whole Pokemon breeding, getting the best egg
Right.
moves.
I was never into breeding.
Right. Yeah, because it's so boring.
Yeah.
It is boring, but if you're into it, then it's like the most important thing in your life.
Yeah.
And I think I'm ready to duke it out over this
Okay.
official top 5.
Lucky for you, I won't give you too much duking this
Okay.
time. But I do want Beebrel. I want Beebrel up there.
Up
Beebrel
there.
is essential and is in my party Pokemon every single gameplay.
You want him higher than 5.
I would want at least a 3.
Let's give him a 1.
What?
Let's give him a 1.
Are you
know
kidding
what?
me?
You know what? He's essential.
Sam.
He's essential.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Sam. Wow. I feel like you just gifted me Beebrel.
But now you owe me.
Fair enough.
Now you're gonna owe me a favor.
Fair enough. What do you want? Oh, do you want your Garchomp up there? I don't want no ground dragons on my list.
I'm gonna need Garchomp. I'm gonna absolutely need Garchomp on the list, and I think number 3 would make the most sense, right? Because we'll say Infernape at number 2. He's already your number 2, right?
Yeah. Yes, he is.
So
That
Beeble
makes
number
sense.
1,
Okay.
Infernape number 2.
You
Garchomp
want
number
Garchomp
3.
above Lucario?
So Garchomp is my number 3.
Okay, fine.
I think Garchomp is a little better than Lucario. So we could do Garchomp number 3, Lucario number 4.
Okay. And then what were you thinking to round it out?
And now it's between Roserade or Magnezone. I could see
Torterra
both.
would be above Magneton for me.
I'm gonna disagree with that, Torterra.
You think Magneton's above? I mean, okay. What were you thinking? Number 5. What?
I'm cool with
Roserade is Roserade. I mean,
Roserade's my pick.
okay. I'll give it to you because you gave
Okay.
me the number 1.
Okay. I believe this lands us on the official list with number 1, Beebrel, number 2, Infernape, number 3, Garchomp, number 4, Lucario,
Yes.
number 5, Roserade.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right to me too.
That's a solid top 5 Gen 4 Pokemon list.
I'm really happy with that top 5. I think it is the absolute legitimate list. Okay.
Awesome.
Would you mind taking us out of here, Jake?
Sure thing. If you like what you've been listening to, there should be 3 more episodes up at this point that you could also listen to wherever you're listening to this one. If you want to tell us our list is fantastic or you would change a few things on it, you could tweet at us or DM us on why did I just forget what Twitter is called? You could DM us or add us on Twitter at Top5Nintendo, the number 5 not spelled out, at Top5Nintendo. You could also shoot us an email at top5nintendopod@gmail.com. That's the number 5 at oh my gosh, number 5 top5nintendopod@gmail.com. Wow, I'm slipping up today. But that's how you can contact us. We should have a few more social medias up probably by the time this comes out, so you could probably search around. It will most likely be the same thing, Top 5 Nintendo Pod. Maybe without the pod. We'll see. Okay, thank you so much, guys. This has been a blast. Cannot wait for the next episode. We will see you then.
Thanks for listening, guys.